Hello, everyone, and welcome to OST Live, a weekly broadcast on blockchain token economies and branded tokens built on OST. Simple Token, also known as OST, is a public blockchain platform that allows businesses to launch their very own branded token. And on this episode, we have Jason Goldberg, now, Jason, welcome to OST Live.
Thanks, Jose. And I want to say first, thank you to you for starting the OST Live initiative. It's been great seeing this new project really blossom, and excited about what you're going to be bringing to it. And so far we've done mostly a lot of talking about OST, and I'm really excited we're also going to start bringing in people in the industry to talk about other projects, other interesting developments in the industry, state of the market, state of technology, and then come back to use cases. And really excited about what we're doing with OST Live. So thank you, Jose. Great job.
Great. And also thank you to the community for tuning in live. We will definitely be doing some episodes, not just all about OST, but about the industry in general with some industry leaders. Next week, we actually have Thomas Power. We'll be talking about tokenization. But if you, the viewers, have any suggestions or feedback about future guests, we're happy to take them. Just let us know what you like to hear. Some quick shout outs on the live chat. John, Brace, Embu, Bruno, thank you guys for joining. And Jason, this is the second time having you on OST Live, and we're sort of going
to thanks, man.
We're gonna do another update about what's been going on with OST. So, can you give us a few highlights about what we're gonna cover today?
Yeah, sure. And first, let me say hi from Korea. I'm on Jeju Island in South Korea, where Ben Bolin, my co-founder and chief blockchain strategist for OST, and I are here tomorrow presenting at the Upbit Developer Conference. It's called Proof of Developer. And there's about 800 people coming to this conference tomorrow. Amazing venue. And it's all about new technologies, blockchain, where it's going, how to scale it, how to improve user experiences. They've got a great lineup of folks from all around the world attending. And so we're really excited and privileged to be here. And tomorrow we'll be presenting OpenST Mosaic, the new protocol that we're just introducing to the world. It follows on the heels of introducing the original OpenST protocol 1 year ago in September of last year. Now 1 year later, we're presenting OpenST Mosaic, which is a protocol for scaling economies, blockchain economies on Ethereum to billions of users, which obviously is a big number, and so a lot to talk about there. So we're really excited to be introducing it to this very technical crowd tomorrow.
Great. And yeah, Ben has also been presenting at several other events, including ETH Berlin, and we'll get into that. We'll also cover that today. But I guess before we get started into talking about some of the topics, such as the bounty program that we just announced about an hour ago and mainnet, Jason, can you give us a refresher about what OST is all about, what our mission is, and what we're striving to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mainnet. Jason, can you give us a refresher about what OST is all about, what our mission is, and
sorry, we had a little echo there. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think
we're back.
The volume might have been on.
Yeah, yeah. That was cute. Live broadcast, right? So where were we? Talking about kind of OST and where we're at in terms of development. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. On the broadcast today. We're going to talk about everything, as you said, from mainnet, which was big news today. To talk about that, about new bounty program. But first, just kind of a quick update on where we're at on the overall project. As you said, so look, the whole purpose of OST is building blockchain infrastructure to empower new economies. And so what we were trying to do is to enable mainstream businesses to move parts of their business on the blockchain, enable the DApps of the future as well. And to do so, we have to solve some really hard problems for businesses. We have to help blockchain scale to first tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of users, and thousands and tens of thousands of transactions per second in order to really enable businesses at scale to come onto blockchain. And so we've been building this infrastructure, and our technology stack consists of both deep tech infrastructure, things around scalability, security, platform technology, developer tools to make it really easy for developers to build and deploy and integrate blockchain solutions, as well as wallets and exchange technology to enable mass market adoption and utility of crypto assets. And so if you look at the last year, so a year ago, we introduced the OpenST protocol. And the OpenST protocol really, it's all about how do you take heavy transaction volume and shift it off of main Ethereum and towards auxiliary chains. Keep it still on chain. So now we're not talking private chains or permission chains, but keep it on public, validated, blockchains, but off of public Ethereum. And so the original OpenST protocol, which we launched last year, is about how do you enable any business to stake the OST token on Ethereum and against minting or towards minting their own branded token or creating their own branded economy on these auxiliary chains. And so we introduced that a year ago, and then over the course of basically the last year and really the last 9 months, in this year, we've just been following a very consistent strategy and plan focused on product development, and then working with partners to deliver results. And our whole philosophy is building the technology stack, getting into the details, and building it with the developer community, and being informed every step of the way by developer teams and partners around the world. So over the course of this year, we've basically done various versions of OST. We've done various versions of the OpenST protocol. We've moved from 0.90, it's kind of the developer terminology, to 0.91 to version 0.92 and 0.93. And along the way, we've held a series of alpha challenges in which the global developer community was able to build on OST, to use the protocol, to use the technology and the tools we built on top of the protocol, and importantly, provide us with feedback so that we can continue building to get to a place where we can launch on mainnet and then go live with these marketplaces and communities on mainnet and scale to these millions and tens of millions and ultimately billions of users around the world. And so where we're at with that, today is, a few things to kind of talk about. One is, as of now, more than 150 development teams have built on OST already, and that's a great number of developers all around the world, from 50 countries who've done projects ranging from improving logistics to eliminating programs for kids. Really exciting stuff that they've already been building on early versions of OST. And then at the same time, we've also signed a number of partners, usually larger companies that are more established, that already have some product market fit, that want to then bring their businesses onto a blockchain. And our signed partners today reach more than 200 million end consumers. We're talking about large partners like companies like Unsplash, companies like Hornet and the LGBT token, companies like Feignin, which is building a really interesting marketplace for the stuff that's already in your closet if you want to have a sharing economy for your stuff. And then our latest partner, PassKit, which we announced just a couple of days ago, which is powering the loyalty programs for some of the largest hotel chains in the world and have a lot of really exciting customers, and they want to bring onto blockchain as well. So a lot of development on the product side, on working with the developer community, and then also signing up partners. And then the last couple things I'll say kind of in terms of the progress before we get into the latest news is, I think everyone will hopefully remember it in July, so just 2 months ago, we released a very detailed roadmap for the next 3 years on how we're going to scale blockchain economies to billions of users and how we're going to build that essential infrastructure, developer tools, wallets, and exchanges to enable end user adoption. And I'm very pleased to report today that we're making great progress on the roadmap and that we're actually ahead of schedule on some very important items, which we'll turn to next.
Great, and it's very exciting to see some real progress on, and these accomplishments. Some of these things, some of these goals, such as scaling Ethereum to billions of users, that's a very ambitious goal, and it's very exciting to see some progress on that. And
yeah, and it's great, we think like a year ago we introduced the protocol, and we've seen all this stuff that we've been building on it and the development of it. And it's great to have both small development teams as well as large partners working on it. And then the big news over the last couple of days was we kind of quietly did a mainnet launch. And what we did there is we had this scheduled for December. And our team kind of challenged ourselves in August, and we said, why December? And you said we had 0.92 of the protocol that was released back earlier this year. And we said, we're building 0.94, which is a very essential next step, which I'll talk about in a second. But we said, why not take 0.92 and bring that onto mainnet now? Because 0.92 is all about the staking and minting So staking OST against minting branded tokens and creating these branded token economies, and all about integration and running transactions. We said, why don't we take 092, even though it's not a fully complete system yet, take 092 and let's move that on mainnet with OST KIT. And OST KIT is basically the developer tools that enable developers to stake and mint and to manage their token economies without having to build everything themselves or to interact directly with the Solidity code, so directly with the protocol. And so last week, we actually asked a handful of our partners if they would want to help us basically test OST KIT and OpenST 092 on mainnet with real OST. And I'm pleased to say that we have, as of today, it's 11 of our partners who have staked OST, real OST, so real tokens staked, and they've minted their branded tokens on mainnet. And we accomplished that, more than 3 months ahead of the previous schedule, which is really exciting. And then as we do 094, which we're scheduled for the end of September, we'll then come back around and do the next set of mainnet testing once we've added then the decentralized keys engine, which is all about enabling key management so that you can have millions or tens of millions or even billions of people owning crypto through these branded tokens, but never even having to, if they don't want to, they don't even need to know that it's crypto. They don't even need to manage their private key. And the company that issued the tokens to them doesn't have their private key either. So it's a multi-sig cloud-based solution for key management that's being built into 094, which we'll detail a lot later, as well as token rules engine, which will enable building smart contracts in a much more efficient way. And those are key elements of 094, which will then bring those to mainnet in the weeks and months to follow, along with some other innovations I'll talk about in a few minutes as well.
Great, and we'll jump into things like Mosaic and that in a minute. But yeah, you mentioned these partners, and I just want to show everybody some of the partners that actually staked OST and minted branded tokens.
You want to show the tweet first from last week?
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Jose. Sorry.
Yeah, so last week you were kind of like, darn it, they figured it out, and yeah, you had this early announcement, and now you gave the update that we have 11 partners that have already staked and minted OST.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, our community is fantastic, and we've got these rabid OST fans, developers who are monitoring everything that's going on, everything anyone's saying about OST. And as it goes, our partner started building on OST, and the community found out, and so we released a kind of a short statement last week, this tweet, and then this week we're now following up with all the details and really explaining who's actually done this. And it's all public on the blockchain, right? So it's there's no mystery to anyone. You can go and now that we're on mainnet, it's all viewable on Etherscan. We have OST View, which is our own block explorer for the branded tokens, but the actual staking actions are actually done on public Ethereum. But if you go to mainnetview.ost.com, as it says on this slide, you can view the communities that have been created already. Now, granted, this is with real OST, but it is still a test. And when we go to 094, the protocol will do another set of testing. But it's really important it's actual. During our previous alphas, it was fake OST. We called it OST Alpha, and essentially had no value. We can give it away for free. And this is actually real OST, and it's real money that people are putting into these contracts and real tokens that are being minted against them. Why don't you back and show the slide with the partners so we can talk about who's actually done this already? Yeah. So I actually think maybe it's 12 as of today, but there's 11 partners here. Unsplash, LGBT Token, Gush Cloud, so the big names here. License Rocks, Connect Scale, Feynman, Taurus City, Radmule, Tribecoin. So a number of great projects. Relay has done it as well, which is completely a DApp project. And we're excited to get more folks touching OST, integrating it, and doing more tests both on testnet and on mainnet. And but we're committed now towards, we're going to have a sandbox environment for anyone to use. We're going to have a testnet environment for partners to integrate into without having to stake real OST, so without any real risk to it. But very soon we're going to be doing mainnet in a much bigger way, and including with keys and with key management and real transactions and users. So that's coming very soon.
And these partners combined, it coordinates to millions of users. LGBT token with Hornet itself has 25 million users, so it's a lot of users already just with these 11 partners.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're the way I put it often is there's about 25 to 30 million people in the world today in total who own a crypto wallet. That's according to third-party stats. And if you take the OST partners, when we bring them online, when they come on, the OST blockchain solutions, we're immediately going to, whether it's 5x or 10x or 20x or even 50x the number of crypto wallets, and we need to be really ready for that. The system needs to be safe, needs to be secure, and it needs to scale. And that's what Mosaic is all about. And we can maybe turn to Mosaic and kind of explain what that's all about, or we can talk about the bounty program first. We got so much news in September. I mean, this is like OST is really coming out of our shell right now with a lot to talk about. So whichever direction you want to take it in, Jose, we can do it.
Yeah, I just want to, for the listeners that are listening to the podcast, you can go to mainnetview.ost.com to check out this. And we already see the bounty coin has been minted with 300,000 OST. And I guess let's jump into this is just on the side how to mint tokens.
Yep.
But let's go into the bounty program. We just announced this 1 hour before this live stream. Jason, what is the OST Mainnet bounty program all about?
Yeah, so what we did is now that we're on mainnet, it's real money and there's real OST tokens. And so the first bounty, and we'll be doing a series of bounties in the future. The first one we want to do is we just wanted to ask hackers to hack some staked OST. And basically the first person to get it can keep it. And we also provide additional bounty if they explain to us how they did it. So there's 300,000 OST that have been staked in a contract. And that contract is live on Ethereum, and it minted 1 million bounty coin on the utility chain. So basically, anyone who can go get that 300,000 OST, you can crack it and find it, and then you can keep it. And then the first person to who does it is going to keep it, and they can earn an additional 100,000 if they explain to us how they did it. And then we have additional bounty rewards for anyone who can report a qualifying security hole, bug in the system. There's full details on our most recent Medium post, and we encourage the community to jump on in. And this will be the first of several bounty programs as we push more and more to mainnet.
Yeah, and the link is there. We'll also add that to the description below. You can find how to do it in the contract addresses, all the details in the Medium post that we just released an hour ago. Very excited for this, and hopefully we get to cover up some vulnerabilities if there are any. So let's move on to Mosaic. So Ben has been presenting OpenST Mosaic at various events. One of the most recent ones was this past weekend. He presented at ETH Berlin. Here's some photos from last week. Jason, what is the goal? Before we get into how Mosaic works, we won't describe it in detail, but we'll just overview it. What's the goal behind OpenST Mosaic?
Yeah. So last Friday at ETH Berlin was the first time that Ben presented the full details of Mosaic. So we talked about it a little bit. We did it, on some podcasts. We did it at a Ethereum meetup. But last week, Friday at ETH Berlin was the first time Ben really spelled it out, kind of in full detail. And we're taking that now to a much larger audience, the Upbit conference, the Upbit Developer Conference here in South Korea tomorrow. And we'll have a video of that as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be live streamed, but they have very professional setup. It's like the biggest auditorium I've ever been in. We did a rehearsal tonight. A little intimidating, to be honest. A little nervous for tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll do a combination of I'll be painting the bigger picture and talking about from a product and usability standpoint, and Ben will go into the real details of Mosaic again. But what we're trying to accomplish here is so there are kind of two types of customers that we look at that want to use, take advantage of the benefits of blockchain and decentralize their businesses and build these kind of microeconomies on blockchain. The first is, well, in the blockchain community, everyone immediately thinks about the dApps, so the distributed applications, who are basically building new types of applications right now that are entirely distributed from scratch. But what a lot of people sometimes forget is that there's actually, a whole, global economy of mainstream businesses who are looking at blockchain and saying, well, we could also benefit from taking parts of our business and bring it onto blockchain. And so what we look at is that both for mainstream apps who have millions of users or tens of millions of users, hundreds of millions of users, or even a billion, consumers or that they might be touching, they want to bring parts of their business on a blockchain and get the benefits of creating these microeconomies. But blockchains say they don't scale. And when we say they don't scale, you can't handle thousands and thousands of transactions per second on the most programmable blockchain, Ethereum. And everyone's racing to figure out how do you scale blockchains. And then distributed apps have the same kind of challenge, right? So they're going to face the same problem of how do they get thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, and at a low cost, right? So everyone who's used Ethereum is familiar with the gas prices, and so what we're looking at building is first is how do we build an on-ramp for existing apps that have all these users to actually get the benefits of transforming their business with blockchain, and to get those benefits now, so to rely on Ethereum as it is. And the second is to also enable scalability for all these emerging dApps that are being built, but enable them to start getting these benefits again now, not have to wait several years down the road for it. And so what Mosaic is all about is basically, and without getting too much in the detail, if you think about the OpenSea protocol enabled all these branded tokens to be created on these auxiliary chains. And the benefit of that is that any brand can have their own economy under their own brand, and they can run all those transactions on those auxiliary chains. And it's an open auxiliary chain, so they have all the benefits of Ethereum in terms of the smart contract framework, and they have an open validator pool. So we're not talking about private chains or permission chains. We're talking about open Ethereum-based blockchains, just not on public Ethereum. And what Mosaic adds to that is the ability to take those transactions and asynchronously sync them back to Ethereum, or what's called finalize them back on Ethereum. So essentially it means is for a company, let's say, who has millions of transactions happening per day, you don't have to take every single transaction one at a time back on Ethereum. You can take 10,000 or 100,000 or 500,000 or a million transactions and bring over the state root of those transactions and finalize them on Ethereum, and to do so very efficiently. And this is a major scaling progress for Ethereum, and something that frankly hasn't existed in the industry yet before Mosaic. There's a number of different scaling solutions that are talked about for Ethereum, and we are, what we're trying to build towards is that when the industry talks about scaling Ethereum, we really want them to be four names that are synonymous with scaling Ethereum, and those are Plasma, Casper, Sharding, and Mosaic. And we're really trying to position that Mosaic is a new innovation that enables a very efficient scaling of Ethereum on chain, and that importantly is available with Ethereum that's we call Ethereum version 1.0, so Ethereum that's available today. And so let me go into this for a minute just so everyone understands it. So people probably heard these words. They hear like, well, what about Casper? What about Plasma? Just want a very, very quick kind of explanation as to what these things are. So first, to give a little background, so Ethereum itself today is a very efficient, secure system. It's based on something called proof of work. And what makes it, because it's very secure, it also is limited in terms of its scalability, because proof of work is a very competitive environment. So the validators on Ethereum compete to be able to seal the transactions on Ethereum. And that's what's, when you said proof of work, and so that's what, all the energy that's consumed in order to close these transactions. But it works, and it works really, really well. It just doesn't work at massive scale yet. And so the Ethereum community, led by the Ethereum Foundation, and Vitalik's leading a lot of this work, has introduced two things that they're working on to create Ethereum version 2.0. And without going into tons of detail on it, two things are called Casper and Sharding, which make up Ethereum 2.0, which are ways to scale Ethereum into the future. Plasma is another initiative, which is led by some very smart folks. And essentially what Plasma does is it takes it takes basically for a specific app, enables them to build an off-chain transactions. So it moves the heavy volume off the public Ethereum, but also off-chain entirely. And the challenge with this is that if it's off-chain, so it's basically you have what's called a data availability problem in terms of how do you sync between the off-chain and the on-chain. And then also what happens is you have what's called an exit problem. If people try to exit the system, everyone has to rush to exit all at once. And that creates this kind of data availability problem. And what Mosaic's done, and Ben's going to go into this in a lot of detail tomorrow at the UpIt conference, he did at the Berlin conference. Mosaic is what we call sharding at layer 2, which is, and so it's entirely on-chain, where there's a validator pool on layer 2 is basically, it's a public auxiliary chain. But the transactions are finalized asynchronously and can be done so in bulk back on Ethereum. And importantly, can be done on Ethereum version 1.0 that exists today. So you can actually scale Ethereum with asynchronous transactions being finalized and to have thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions finalized all at once back on Ethereum 1.0. So leveraging the power of proof of work, because it really, really does work to scale those transactions. And we're also building it in a way where when Ethereum moves to Ethereum version 2.0, Mosaic will move with it as well. So Mosaic is a protocol that works on ETH 1.0. It'll also work on ETH 2.0. And it also could work across other blockchains as well beyond Ethereum in the future.
Great. And we also have Ben's talks on our YouTube channel, which goes more into details about this, discussing layer 1 versus layer 2 scaling. And Mosaic is a layer 2 solution for scaling dApps built on Ethereum. And yeah, just go to youtube.com/ost.com to watch some of Ben's presentations. Good presentations. They go into detail. Great way to learn more about scaling solutions and more about Mosaic. So other than Mosaic, the team is also working on OpenST. Jason, you discussed some of the progress on OpenST. And today the team is working at OST 0.9.4. So what's the update on this?
Yeah, so 0.9.4 is, as I said before, it's essentially to it, as we call token holder contracts, and the others around decentralized key management. And what these two things are, it's really about enhancing the interface between Mosaic as a layer 2 scaling solution and OST KIT. And also just enabling these kind of user-friendly key management solutions, as well as token rules that are basically modular token rules for developers, so that they can basically have the technology, the blockchain technology, work the way that their businesses work. So you want to be able to write smart contracts very efficiently and map to the needs of the business. So again, it's like, how do you make blockchain work for the business versus adjusting the business to map to the technology? So 0.9.4 is on track to be finalized at the end of September. So again, September is huge month for OST. We're also in addition to 0.9.4, our team is also working on something called OpenST.js. And basically, it's a collection of pre-written JavaScript tools, which will enable easy development for dApps if they want to work basically with the token holder contract, token rules. And so taking what's in 0.9.4 and enabling some very easy developer tools for it. And then we'll also after that work on something called Mosaic.js, which actually the team's already been working on these things. So there's a lot going on at OST at the protocol level, especially. So Mosaic is a large amount of work. And the Mosaic white paper will follow the presentations we're doing at these conferences. The white paper will be by the end of the month. Then we have OpenST.js along with 0.9.4 and Mosaic.js, and then moving all this towards mainnet in a series of alphas and betas over the course of the next few months.
So very briefly, going back to 0.9.4, does a decentralized key management solution, does that essentially make it easier for the user because they don't have to worry about holding or managing their private keys?
Yeah, I mean, essentially the thing is there's a few things involved here. So one is for a mass consumer app, or say for any business that there's a large barrier hurdle if we were to require any business today to say, in order to launch a token economy, every one of your customers or users needs to learn about crypto, write down a private key, understand how to safeguard themselves against attacks. And so we need to build really simple solutions for people to earn, to buy, to spend branded tokens without having every single person to be able to have to really know crypto and even potentially not even know that it is crypto. And then at the same time, we didn't want to have a managed key solution where, say, the company is managing the key for the individual. So having a decentralized key management solution, which is safe and secure, where the individual has a key, but but they don't actually need to know the key, is really important. And then also making sure that the company can't take away someone's tokens, company can't change the rules on the person, some rogue employee inside the company can't just suddenly take people's tokens. So we had to really get these aspects right, and we think we've got a very elegant solution for it. We'll be releasing details for it as part of 094, which ended this month. And then from that, we're then going to build a variety of different type of wallet solutions. There'll be white label wallets. So each of our partners will be able to have their own wallets with various features in them. Then there'll also be an OST wallet for end users to be able to carry tokens from multiple branded token economies, as well as then hooking all that up to the branded token exchange, which is kind of the next big phase that we're working on going into next year, which is enabling people to swap tokens and go in and out of tokens, both atomically as well as with off-chain solutions as well.
Great. This is definitely a great update to help bring tokenization to the masses without having users to go through that learning curve.
It's a lot of work, and I hope the community and everyone tuning into this, hope by doing some of these sessions, everyone can start to really understand kind of what our team's been working on, because this is a very massive project with a very big vision. You're talking about how do you scale blockchain economies to billions of users, to apps and businesses with tens of millions and hundreds of millions of users. And then to do so in a way where we feel like the solutions are safe, secure, confident they can scale, that you're solving some of these hard things like key management, solving some of these things like how to to swap in and out of tokens and to exchange for different currencies. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of things we gotta pull together. And it's gonna take our 65-person team is pulling together a heroic effort on this. We'll be adding more people to the team. We'll be working with partners, working with other protocols, folks in the industry. But there's a lot that we're doing here, and it's a very big vision we're working towards.
Great, and these are a lot of updates that we're going through for OST. So earlier, going on to partners, just an update on our new partnership with PassKit. You mentioned it earlier in the podcast, and last week we had an interview with Paul Tomes from PassKit. Jason, what excites you about this new partnership?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at partners like Unsplash, like LGBT Token with Hornet, these are businesses that have tens of millions of users. PassKit is another one like that, and this is a kind of sweet spot of what we look for in a partner. So PassKit has they've entered in a partnership with us. They want to launch their own token, and they want to build it on OST technology with OpenST and the OpenST Mosaic protocols, and currently, they reach over 250 million people worldwide, and 50,000 businesses use PassKit to power their loyalty programs. I mean, this is big stuff. I mean, across retail, hospitality, travel, insurance, food and beverage, telecommunications, financial services verticals. Talking brands like Best Western International, Heathrow Airport, Azul Airways. Lots of companies that are using PassKit, and so this is an opportunity for PassKit to blockchain enable these loyalty programs and to show the benefits that both these businesses can achieve, as well as most importantly, their end users can achieve from blockchain technology. And I think this is what we really want to see in terms of with the partners that we're signing up to OST. We have some very interesting partners we're going to be announcing soon. Sorry, I can't do it today, but who also are in the tens of millions of users. And because that's really where we feel like we have at the developer level, we have hundreds of developers who want to test and build both apps from scratch, as well as just apps, distributed apps to help us really test the technology, and we want to help them build up. Then we also want to launch into the market with companies and businesses that have millions or tens of millions of end customer touch points, because that's really going to challenge us to get the scalability, to get the key management, to get the exchange right. And so that's really exciting to have partners like Package coming on board. Last week, you had Sean from LGBT Token talking about how Hornet, which is a social networking app for the LGBT community, they have 30 million users, how they're working on integrating the LGBT token into Hornet. They launched a video last week showing their first integration. They were also one of the partners who did the mainnet test. Hornet is just one of the many partners that LGBT Token's working to sign up to use LGBT Token to really create a new economy for LGBT persons worldwide that helps protect the safety, security, identity of LGBT persons, and then also helps to grow LGBT businesses, create loyalty around them, and to give back to the community. And so we're very excited about the partners working with, both at the developer level, at the startup level, and the medium to large size business level. And all this, though, is about how do we inform product that's going to work for real businesses. There's a lot of hype in blockchain. We're trying to build stuff that actually is going to work. And the only way to do that is get your hands dirty and work with developers.
Great. And, we have more and more partners. Over the last month, we've had a few partners join. And as we get those new partners, we'll also have them on the show on OST Live. So you guys can ask them questions and get to know more about the partnership between our partners and OST. So some recent news, I think it was this week and last week, we had some new listings for OST. It was CoinSuper, which is, Jason, is that a South Korean exchange?
CoinSuper is in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong exchange. And I believe IDCM was the South Korean.
Yeah, they focus in Korea, Vietnam, Dubai, a couple other markets. And so, yeah, I mean, look, with we're getting approached by a lot of exchanges recently that want to list OST. We think it's a testament to our solutions first focused, really showing utility. I will tell you that since we had the mainnet launch, we've had a couple other exchanges that have approached us. Our whole thing with this is, we want to get the OST token into the hands of as many developers as possible. Developers, partners are going to need places to buy the OST token in order to make so we're happy to have OST listed in places where the intended users of the utility of OST are able to find it and able to purchase it.
Definitely, and glad to see we're already on 6 major exchanges. Definitely makes it more available for anybody that wants to get involved with the OST project. Moving on to what to expect from OST in the coming weeks and in the coming months. Jason, can you walk us through a brief overview of the roadmap for OST over the next couple of months?
Yeah, and I'll say that we have a very detailed 3-year roadmap for scaling blockchain economies to billions of users and thousands of transactions per second on our Medium and on our website. And we'll be adding more of that information onto the OST.com website in the coming weeks, as well as more information on the technology. Just some highlights of some of the things that are coming over the next bit of time. So we mentioned OpenST Mosaic. We're out there right now presenting it because we want community feedback. And so Ben presents it in heavy detail because we want people to ask us questions about it. We want to explain the differences between Mosaic and Plasma, how we're building on Casper and sharding and creating token sharding at layer 2. We want to get it out there and get feedback and get people to test these things and really to test the theory, challenge on it. That's how we make it work and make it better. We'll be publishing the OpenST Mosaic white paper at the end of September, as well as I said, releasing 0.94 of the protocol. In Q4, we're going to continue mainnet testing. So we'll take 0.94 on OST KIT onto mainnet. We'll do a series more of bounty programs and alphas, a lot more kind of mainnet testing throughout Q4, as well as obviously enhancing more features. And then next year is really about getting ready for deployments. And so Mosaic we're doing a series of alphas and betas on Mosaic. We say warm up the validator pool, but essentially what this means is that we have all these transactions that'll be running on the auxiliary chains. They need to be validated. So there's a validator pool there, and then Mosaic is basically the mechanism by which you then seal those transactions or finalize them on Ethereum. And so we'll be working towards basically warming up that validator pool and proving that out and proving out the economics of it. And then widespread deployments of OST, OpenST, Mosaic in both mainstream businesses and distributed applications. And all of this is working on towards in 2019. And then our goal is, by 2020, so a year later, is that Mosaic is fully released and fully decentralized. And so basically, we said we give ourselves a year where Mosaic is running, but then we really want to just get out of the way and fully decentralize the validator pool behind Mosaic. And Ben will go into this again. He did some of this in the ETH Berlin talk. He'll go into more in the Upbit talk tomorrow, and then we'll have it all really spelled out in the white paper itself.
Great, and I'll go ahead and shortly after the call, I'll add the links to the roadmap for those of you that want to check it out, as well as Ben's talks. And in regards to upcoming events, Jason, you'll be at the Upbit developer conference tomorrow.
So that's tomorrow, here from Jeju Island, Korea. And then tomorrow, Jose, I think you're hosting a OST Live with some of our developers.
Yeah, so we'll have best of Alpha 3 projects. We'll have them on the show on OST Live, so you can feel free to join us and ask questions. We're going to go through wallet features and how they use the OST APIs to build their proof of concepts for the Alpha 3 challenge. And then Jason, on September 14th, I think you have an event at the Hash Lounge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Hash is one of the largest, if not the largest and well-known blockchain investors and promoters, incubators in all of Asia. I tweeted earlier today, I was at their offices in Seoul, and you look at kind of what they've invested in, back in investing in the original Ethereum ICO to some of the best projects in the industry. They're very product technology focused, and they've set up a technology talk with us and the Origin protocol on Friday evening in Seoul. We'll have that videoed as well. To go through. We'll be, again, presenting the details of OpenST Mosaic. And we're going to be doing a lot more events like this, a lot more talks. And you can really expect, OST to be much more visible. We want, again, to tell the story of Mosaic everywhere we can. We want people to hear it. We want people to ask questions about it, challenge it. And we're open to any question the community has about the technology, about the industry, anything at this point.
Great, and this was a good update for those of you watching live. If you have any questions, Jason will be answering a couple. So I guess, Jason, if you want to go through the live chat with me.
Let's do it.
So
11:42 p.m. here in Jeju Island. Let's ask questions until there are none more.
So thank you for the 53 people that are watching live now. Brace asked if the Upbit conference will be live. It won't be live, but Jason, will we be posting the video for that?
Yeah, so I was there earlier today rehearsing, and again, it's pretty spectacular what they're putting together. Quality of the contents can be fantastic, and they have basically said that within 24 hours they're hoping to have every one of the talks on YouTube. They said by end of day Friday they hope to have ours. So I'd say at latest, let's say Monday, but that's what they've told us so far.
Great. So be sure to look out for that on our social channels. We'll be posting that. John Sharp asks, are there any more alpha developer challenges coming up this year, testing new features? So Jason, do we have an update? Are we going to do an Alpha 4 challenge?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an important part of our ethos is to work with the developer community every step of the way. We have a number of projects, nearly 100 right now that have been basically working with us from Alpha 2 to Alpha 3, and we want them to keep going. So we will definitely be launching more alphas and betas, and we'll be doing testing and development on both testnet and mainnet going forward with the community.
Great. And then we have another question. Are there any plans for the DEF CON 4?
We're going to be at DevCon. We are still working on what exactly we're going to do there, but we're definitely going to be there. Even today we heard some interesting ideas around DevCon, and but everyone can expect OST is going to be very active in the community at a number of industry events in the coming months. So, yeah, expect us to be very vocal about presenting what OST is all about.
Great. And then I think we have a couple more. Armin asked, will there be Korean investors at the Hash conference? So what is the Hash conference? You just covered that a second
Yep.
ago.
I mean, Hash is, they've got about 100 people who are signed up for this meetup. They usually get very well attended. And, it'll be a blend of technology enthusiasts, crypto enthusiasts, and, people who just want to, learn about the project. Yeah.
Great. And then I think that covers all of our chat questions. Yeah, thank you all for joining us in the live chat. This will be reposted into a blog format with a summary of these updates, and you can also check out the bounty program. That we'll put that in the description below. So yeah, thank you all in the chat for watching. Jason, thanks for joining us on this episode.
Thanks so much, Jose, and great job on the series. And huge shout out to the entire OST team and the OST community. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for all your contributions. It's a huge project, and it takes a lot of people and a lot of hard effort and work to get it done. And I'm so thankful to the team and to the community for your support.